Twilight Masquerade has been out for a few weeks now, and it's time we take a look at how some of the biggest cards in this set are moving, whether they're going up, going down, staying the same, and whether we should consider buying them right now or not. I did want to start off by looking at some of the pull rates for Twilight Masquerade just for everyone to understand how we're doing here. So hyper rares or the gold cards, 1 in 146 in pulling these cards. That's pretty up there, pretty tough. I was only able to pull 1 in a couple booster boxes, so I would consider myself lucky if I look at that number. Special illustration rares is 1 in 86. Again, pretty up there as well. I actually was not able to pull any special illustration rares from these booster boxes, so I'm in the L side for that for sure. And the last one that I really want to touch on is the illustration rares, which is 1 in 13. And again, that's probably what's keeping the Eevee and some of these really nice looking cards at bay and not going too up in price. So let's not waste any more time and get right into it. I'm not going to go in any particular order today. Again, I'm just going to kind of pick cards that I really like and that have the big movements, and we'll just go through them as we go along. So we're going to start this off with Greninja EX. Obviously, this was the heavy hitter. It's still the heavy hitter of the set, I should say. It was around the $148 mark pre-release. Had a little bit of a dip once the set released out, and then it kind of climbed all the way back and up above the $170 mark. So again, it is doing really well. It's still moving up, and we could probably see this card still continuing to move. Again, this is the heavy hitter of the set. This is a really nice looking card, and the beautiful colors with it. A lot of people just, again, like Greninja as a Pokemon itself. And as I mentioned in previous videos, this is probably going to be a card that's going to be one of the top in the Scarlet and Violet series altogether. Not just this set specifically, but in Scarlet and Violet altogether. And we're going to probably see this card continue to climb. Maybe it will get to $200. Again, maybe not right now in this moment, but in the next few months, who knows? Again, this is the heavy hitter of the set. Something to watch. I don't know if I'd go for it right now. I think it's a bit pricey. We may have a little bit of a dip at one point when some other sets come out and the attention is kind of taken away from it. So I would say just kind of watch this card for now, just for the time being, I would say. We got to talk about our boy Eevee next, of course, because this, in my opinion, should be the second best card of the set, but it's not. It's only worth $40, but you know what? It's held its ground. It's worth $40. It also had its dip when the set had officially released, and then it climbed back up to around the $40 mark. Honest opinion, beautiful looking card. We talked about pull rates earlier. It's a little bit easier to pull than some of the other cards. So again, my opinion, 40 bucks, 35 bucks, it's probably going to stay around that price based on what it looks like right now. Maybe it will climb a little bit more in the future. As of right now, it will probably stay at this price. Personally, I'd pick it up. Again, 40 bucks is not too bad for this beautiful card. Again, beautiful artwork. You've got all the Eevees just hanging out. As I said before, it's probably one of the nicest looking cards from the Scarlet and Violet era. Not the most expensive card, but one of the nicest looking cards. And if it was a little bit more difficult to pull, I would say this card would have probably been crossing the $100 mark, but it's just not there. And we'll probably see some movement maybe in the future, not right now. Next, let's talk about Bloodmoon Ursaluna, and I'm just going to go straight into the price because I called this out in one of my previous videos that this card was way too expensive and it's just going to eventually dip, and it already had a big dip. As we can see, it was around a $90 card when it first released and has dropped all the way to around a $50, $55 card. Again, almost half price here, and probably going to see it go even further at one point. So again, this is one of those cards that I just want to keep watching. If you're collecting this set, trying to master it, I would just hold off a little bit longer. Maybe it'll go even further down, maybe a $40 or $30 card. But again, we said this in one of our previous videos. It's just one of those cards. Again, it's a nice card. It's just there are a lot of cards in the set, a lot of cards in Scarlet and Violet in general. I don't think it's going to be one of the heaviest hitters. And as we can see right away, it's already not one of the heaviest hitters, and it's going to probably dip further. I'd watch again this a little bit longer and see where the price is at and maybe buy it at that point. Next up, I'm looking at the Hisuian Growlithe. Again, I'm not going to look at the most expensive cards. I'm just going to look at some of the cards that I really like and some of the cards that just are cards that we want to really appreciate because they're really just nice art cards, really, at the end of the day. But again, this card here it was a $16 at tops, and now it's about 11 bucks. Honest opinion, you know what? $10, $15, whatever it is. If you're mastering this set and you want it, or if you just want this card specifically, I'd go for it. It's just a nice art card at the end of the day. You could see he's just getting his picture taken. If you've seen, of course, the other card of Kieran taking the photograph of him, it's a nice card at the end of the day. And again, if you are trying to master this set, just go for it. 10, 15 bucks. It's really not that bad. I don't see any more movement in the future. Probably even go a little bit further down. So again, if you want to wait. If you don't, then just go for it, in my opinion. Now let's go from super cheap to super expensive. Carmen is one of the heavy hitters of this set as well. was $120, had a little bit of a dip, and then went back up to $120, and that's where it's kind of sitting at right now. So it looks like she's the top of this set from the waifu cards, if you want to call them that, or trainer cards. That's what the normal wording of it is. But she is still at $120 right now. It's a really nice card. Again, one of the better trainer art cards with her, like, you know, having a little candy apple or whatever that is in her hand, and then she's got like some noodles in the other hand. It's just a really nice card. I like the colors. It's very vibrant, you know, the blues, the reds. It's a beautiful card. $120 is a bit expensive. You want me to be honest with you? I'd hold off. I'd hold off a little bit longer. Again, we've seen what happened with Iono and some of the other trainer cards. They have these surges, they kind of stick around, and then once the set's been out a little bit longer, then the price kind of goes down a little bit. So again, something to just kind of hold off on and watch. Nice card. If you pulled it, fantastic. If you haven't, I would say hold off if you're trying to buy it as a single card. Continuing on with our trainer card, so Perrin is next at $58 when it came out first, and now sits at around $78. So again, it has had its bump up. It had a bump up right when it released as well, then it dipped back down and then kind of climbed back up to around that $78 mark. And this is a beautiful looking card at the end of the day. We've got the camera with her taking the picture of the Growlithe. This is the card I was talking about. This is just a nice looking card. Again, kudos to the artist who made this card. Beautiful card. Going back to the same story that I mentioned with Carmen, again, I just maybe hold off a little bit longer with these cards just to see how they move. I was hoping that they would have dipped by the time I made this video, but again, they're still kind of doing okay. But again, it's been about 3 weeks, so you know what? We'll still probably see more dips in the near future. We'll maybe look at these cards again in a few months just to see how they're doing. But again, it is one of those cards that I would just hold off on for now. And next up is Kieran. So again, another trainer card here. So it's funny, they just kind of look the same, her and Carmen. If you look at their hairstyle, it's just kind of crossed there. And they're at the same carnival as well. It looks like they're at the same party. You know, it looks like she has a candy apple too. Did they just miss each other? Was it like meant to be? I don't know. But the point is that, you know, there's a lot of things going on here where there are people in the same places, in the same spots. A lot of artwork that, you know, works with one card and another. We don't see Carmen anywhere in this image, of course, but it looks like they're at the same event from what I'm seeing. This card is much cheaper. It's currently going for about $40, so again, not bad in comparison to the other trainer cards with this one, which were again about $70 to $120. Again, this is much, much cheaper, $40 card. Again, if you can find this card and you know you don't want to wait, I wouldn't mind going for it now. Again, $40 is not a bad price for it. And one other thing I wanted to highlight, this one also looks very much like the Iono card with the food and the Pikachu there. If you notice that, you know, the Pokemon kind of food style thing going on over there, technique style. I don't know what all that's all about, but it's there. So it may go up a little bit further in the near future, but it will probably dip back down as well, as we've seen with some of these trainer cards. Next, we're going to look at a Pokemon card finally, because we've taken a lot of time with trainers, but Chansey. Chansey is actually my second favorite card from this entire set. After the Eevee, of course. It's just really nice. And you've got so many Pokemon in there. Like you've got Chansey, Snorlax, Bellsprout, Ditto. You've got Psyduck, one of my favorite. He's just hanging out there all at the Pokemon Center, I'm assuming. And it's only a $13 card. That's amazing. So, I mean, like the artwork on this is just fantastic. It probably destroys majority of the cards in this set, and it's kind of overlooked for whatever reason, probably because it's much easier to pull. But in all honesty, what an amazing card. My second favorite card after the Eevee card. If you guys are collecting and you want this card, just go for it. Honestly, $13, beautiful. I thought it would have probably been like more of a $30 or $40 card, but you know what? I'll take 13 bucks. I'll pay for it right now. So this is a definite buy for me. But again, more so just wanted to highlight like the whole artwork and everything with this. Just stunning. Great job on the artwork. Now let's touch on one of the gold cards here, Buddy Buddy Puffin. We did look at this card when the set released, and again, it was a very expensive card. It was about an $80 card, and I did mention this as well before, that this card was going to dip, and it dipped much quicker than I expected. It's at $40 now, about $42. So again, if you are somebody that's trying to master this set, I would even hold off a little bit longer, because it's probably gonna dip even further once this card is no longer playable. But again, that might take a little bit of time. So if you are someone that doesn't want to wait, 40 bucks is not bad, but personally, it's probably gonna dip further down. It's just a really nice looking card for people that are trying to soup up their decks right now. And I mentioned this already. So again, for me, hold off. We're already seeing the dip. Probably going to dip even further at one point. And the last card we'll look at today is Lana's 8. Again, this was a $73 card and has dropped all the way down to a $32 card. Probably going to drop even further. Pause on the money thing for a second here. It is a nice looking card. She's just hanging out there by the river. We got Corphish there. Great colors, great vibe. I think it's a nice looking card. Again, it's a trainer card and we're seeing a dip on it. This is what I'm talking about with some of these trainer cards that you want to be careful for. We're probably going to see this with Carmen and Perrin and the others at one point, but we're already seeing that here with Lana's aid. So again, I just wanted to bring this card to your attention just because of what's going on with the trainer cards, as we do see dips eventually, and I wanted to illustrate that with this one over here. Again, I don't know how quickly that's going to happen with the other cards, but eventually it will, in my opinion. Anyways, folks, that's a quick little recap of how Twilight Masquerade has been doing after its first few weeks of it being out. Some cards are really booming, some of them are already tanked, and some are just staying where they are. Let me know in the comments section below on what your thoughts are on some of these cards and what you're collecting, and if you think that we should go for some of these cards or even hold off, as I mentioned. And again, everyone, if you like the content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.